In today's video, we're going to be doing a fairly simple comparison, the GTA 5 map versus the GTA 6 map, what we know so far. And ever since the first Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks happened back in September 2022, the GTA 6 community has been hard at work, essentially mapping out what we know so far of Vice City and the entire state of Leonida. And in case you guys are skeptical on whether or not these sort of mapping projects work and having the community come together and essentially, piecing together things they learn from the trailers and learn from the leaks and speculation, etc., this is the final version on the left-hand side of the screen of the fan-created GTA 5 map. And on the right, obviously, that's the real version that Rockstar Games came out with. And you guys can see, yes, there are some roads that might not 100% be perfect. There's some little inlets and islands that might not necessarily be there. But I would say this map is like 98% correct. And that was all done based on things we were able to learn from the trailer, screenshots that had come out, piecing together coordinates that could be seen from one shot to another, and what it translated to by the end of the day, and I think this was the final version that came out in August of 2013, with the game obviously releasing in September of 2013, is you had a map that was nearly 100% perfect. And this map identified everything from buildings to airports to places of business, golf courses, etc. All of it was pretty much there. And so when we take a look at the GTA 6 mapping project, I know a lot of people are saying, how is this going to look anything like the Grand Theft Auto 6 map? Well, in reality, it probably very much is. And since we're on the subject of the GTA 5 map and the Grand Theft Auto 6 map, what I want to do right now is sort of look at a comparison between the two. So because we're able to utilize Rockstar Games engine units, which is basically what they measure from point A to point B, we can line up the GTA 5 map precisely with the GTA 6 map, and this is essentially what we get here. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you've got a 100% opacity version of the GTA 5 map, and on the left-hand side of the screen, you've got kind of like a 35%. So you can see just how much area it ultimately takes up. And you guys can see that the Grand Theft Auto 6 map really does look to be about 2.5 to 3 times bigger in terms of sizing than the GTA 5 map, which is absolutely awesome. And something really important to note here is that GTA 5 has a lot of mountains. So the surface area of the Grand Theft Auto 5 map isn't exactly what you would call playable. Think of all the mountains there. You've got Mount Josiah, you've got Mount Chiliad, you've got all those areas up in there that are essentially like these little hills that don't contain anything and that you can't really do anything on. Vice City in the state of Leonida is going to be a lot flatter. So the difference is going to be even bigger than what we can see in this comparison. There's going to be a lot more room for us to actually do things. The GTA 5 map in this instance is essentially just a perimeter. Because if you really think about it, the top half of the map is essentially just a empty land, place to drive fast simulator. So if the top of the GTA 6 map is going to be a little bit different, it could have a ton more small towns, even another city, that would essentially help with this problem. And I know a lot of people are worried about the entire state of Leonida being flat, and based on what we've seen so far in the leaks, we can definitely see that Rockstar Games is trying to add smaller and larger hills that are a few hundred feet tall. I'm glad they aren't making the map entirely flat like the real life state of Florida essentially is. And I think because Rockstar knows it's a relatively flat state, they're going to try to incorporate possibly some man-made things to change that elevation. I mean, even the very first scene in the trailer featured that massive TV or telephone radio tower that looks so enticing to climb and find out what's up there. So they're going to do stuff like that that changes your eye level and enhances the topography as well, even if it isn't with natural things like mountains. So based on what we've seen so far, expect to see some hills between Vice City and Port Gellhorn and in the north of Leonida. I don't know how Rockstar is going to mirror the real-life bordering states of Florida, which would be Alabama and Georgia. But I can tell you, as a resident of Georgia, we definitely have some mountains here, and there's certainly a lot of topography that goes on. I wouldn't say that we have massive mountains, but they certainly are big enough to make a difference. And the hills in this game not only provide much-needed topography variations to an otherwise flat state, but it will also prevent you from seeing like Port Gellhorn from Vice City and vice versa. So it also serves as a natural draw distance barrier, and in such is going to make the map appear a lot larger. And I'm not necessarily hating on the mountains of GTA 5. They look nice and served a purpose. However, us as the player doesn't really use that space much. So it's not that the mountains were bad necessarily, it's just the main playable area of GTA 5 is a lot smaller than it may seem. So it's exciting seeing all that space on the map will be very likely accessible in GTA 6 with more opportunities for points of interest, which is actually something we'll talk about in a video a little bit later on in the day, so please stay tuned for that. Now, one thing you guys are very likely to point out is the fact that the Panhandle does feel big, and while the Panhandle is purely speculative, the mapping community decided that there is a Panhandle based on state highway signs depicting one. So assuming it does exist, the size and shape is unknown, but given how big the Panhandle of Florida is in real life, it isn't really an unfair representation of what the shape of the state of Leonida might actually look like. And honestly, just starting to compare the maps even more, remember, GTA 5 was designed on a 19-year-old set of consoles, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. So I think it's fair to assume the map for GTA 6 could be massive. And remember, when they were marketing GTA 5, they always used the term Los Santos and surrounding hills. With Grand Theft Auto 6, they're saying the entire state of Leonida, so this is very likely going to be massive. And sort of building off of the very first thing we talked about is fan-created concept maps. Even though every single one of them might be a little bit unique, might be a little bit different, they might have different elements like islands or connecting states, for example, they roughly are going to give us a good idea of what the world of GTA 6 is going to be like and what our adventures are essentially going to be in Vice City and the entire state of Leonida. And once again, I want to remind you guys of a really cool website that you can take a look at in the description. It's called vimap.saamexe.com. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's where you can compare the latest mapping project. You can also overlay the Grand Theft Auto 5 map on top of it, as well as remove things like the grid and the buildings, and even adjust things like things we were able to see in the September 2022 leaks. So I'll definitely leave a link to that in the description. There's also an update that is on the way that is going to be coming soon. It's not currently there yet, but it essentially gives you the ability to slide through all the updates to the mapping projects that have happened. And you guys can see just the massive changes that have occurred from the months and years of trying to bring the map of Vice City and Leonida to life. So again, I don't believe this version is out yet. This was posted by, I believe, the creator of this project, LAZE, on X or Twitter. I'll also leave a link to their page in the description if you guys are interested. But that is a simple comparison of the GTA 5 map versus the Grand Theft Auto 6 map, and just how big of a difference there's going to be essentially all the way around, from the shape, from the topography, how much is going to be included in the world. But please do feel free to let me know in those comments down below, what do you think of the GTA 6 map so far, and how do you believe it shapes up to the GTA 5 map? Better, worse, somewhere in between? Let me know what you think in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the GTA 6 videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.